evening, everyone, and welcome to the Maitland City Council meeting of January 26, 2026. If you would please make sure that you've silenced your phones. And if anybody wishes to speak at the public period, it would be helpful for us if you would fill out a speaker form, which are out there on the table out front, and there's also a few up here at the podium. We start off our evenings together with a moment of silence, so if you would please join me with a brief moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Now, if you would please, if you were able to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we are on to old business. Mark, is there any old business?
Just one piece of old business to follow up from the meeting last week. I sent out the notice to the City Council, the same notice that went out to the residents and businesses regarding the detour at Maitland Avenue and Marion Way. First of all, I'd like to say that the only people that are more frustrated with the pace of construction than the neighbors in the neighborhood are my wastewater staff, and working with the contractor to try to get that job moving forward. They've been working with the contractor for the last 2 weeks to figure out how to get around some existing utilities that were in the street. Sort of long and the short of it was they looked at a number of different options to make the connection from Maitland Avenue over to Marion Way, and they came back looking at jack and bore, different options. What they came around to was what they had decided to do in the first place was to open trench it. They just needed to order a smaller trench box to get over there. So as of today, they are back under construction. That did result in a couple-week delay, so that detour will remain in effect until they clear out of Maitland Avenue and complete the project. So we're continuing to work with them. We are continuing to work to expedite the project to get that buttoned up and get it out of that neighborhood just as soon as possible. So that's the update I have for you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a matter of great concern to everybody in the city, and certainly everybody's inconvenienced by that detour out there. And so we're sorry about that, and we're working as hard as we can to get it resolved. And we're sorry that we're going to have another 3 weeks of living with it. And there we are.
It's not only the residents, the businesses, and we don't want either of those to suffer.
Right.
So,
right. Okay. Consent agenda. Does anybody on council wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Okay. Does anybody from the public have any comments on consent agenda items 2 through 6? Seeing none, let's close the public period. And if there's no discussion, the motion will be in order.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda for January 26, 2026.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Michelle, we have a motion and a second. Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Guthrie.
Aye.
Councilmember Sheehan.
Aye.
Councilmember French. Aye. Councilmember Randall.
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye. Consent agenda is approved unanimously. Okay, public period. This is the period when anybody from the public who wishes to address us has 3 minutes to do so on any item. If there's an item that's actually on later on the agenda, you might want to hold your peace until that item comes up. But if this is kind of items of a general nature, anybody would like to address us on anything that's on your mind, please, sir, come on up. And actually, I'm remiss. You may be Mr. Lewis Stern. Is that correct? Dr. Sorry, yes, Dr. Stern. Look after Speaker Stern. I apologize for not calling you up.
Thank you. My concern is one of safety. I'm sure this is something the city must be aware of, or the police department must be aware of. It has to do with the use of electric bicycles on the sidewalks in Maitland. I live on Domrick Drive, and we have a sidewalk there for the last 2 or 3 years. And one of the obvious benefits is that's pedestrian safety. But numerous times nowadays, and you can stand out there yourself, we see people on electric bicycles and even regular bicycles riding down the sidewalks, and that's an impediment to safety. In addition, we see these people, I call them miniature motorcycles that are electric that these kids are riding. I frequently take a walk on the overpass over 1792 near Mayo Drive, and every time I go, I see at least one or two of these, I call them kids, or probably young teenage boys, riding these electric, what I call them, miniature motorcycles with the fat wheels. They're not even pedaling, they're just riding. I'm sure they're going faster than most people would be happy with. So I wanted to know, and I've seen adults ride on electric bikes as well as these, what I call miniature motorcycles that are electrified down the sidewalks. So this is obviously a safety hazard. I know that I think the Orange County Commission had addressed this at one time at a meeting, but I'd like to know what the city of Maitland, I'm sure you're aware of it, what can be done, how we can regulate it, make it safer for everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Stern. And after we hear all the comments, we'll address them one by one. So thank you for your comments, Stephen. Does anybody else have any? I have another card here. Stan Smith. Stan Smith in the gallery.
Thank you very much. My name is Stan Smith. I'm the District 6 Commissioner for the City of Belle Isle, and I'm on the Board of Directors of the Tri-County League of Cities. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Board. The City of Maitland, as you know, has been a very long, well-respected and honored member of the Tri-County League for a long time, and quite honestly, we haven't seen you in a while. We kind of miss you once you're back. We meet monthly. The wind of change blowing out of the north is going to affect us all. We're stronger together than we are independently. If the members of the commission are not able to attend the meetings, then may have the city manager, assistant city manager, director of finance. This past meeting we had, the Seminole County controller gave a presentation about what life would be like if some of the winds that blow in and actually get it to the ballot and get passed. And none of them were good, and it affects all of us. We'd like to pass the invitation to have you rejoin us, and look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Does anybody else from the public have any comment this evening? Okay. Seeing none, let's close the public comment period. And Dr. Stern's comment merits some discussion. I think we've all been hearing from our neighbors and seeing it for ourselves, kind of an uptick in e-bike use, scooter use, electric scooter use, go-kart or golf cart use. And it's, I'm in the same neighborhood as Dr. Stern, so apparently that is one of the most active for these types of vehicles. So it is concerning to see a lot of that. I know that other cities have taken certain steps, and in their garden, for instance, recently took a pretty dramatic step to regulate scooters and e-bikes. And they already had a pre-existing golf cart design out there in an area. So, and we have, I think, there are two ways to go about it. One is enforcement, and the other is education. And I think, probably education is they're equally important, but education really is what we need, I think, to start with. And I know that the chief of police has talked to some folks, I think a group of parents dealing with electric golf carts and the use and proper registration and restrictions on who can drive them and how they should be driven, et cetera. Maybe less has been done about bikes because it is they're a little bit trickier. It's not to say that they shouldn't be addressed, but they're a little bit trickier because it's with a golf cart you can say is it street legal or is it not? I mean that's a pretty simple determination. With an e-bike, they're all pretty much street legal, I guess, until you get up into a certain velocity. And there are 3 classes, I understand, of e-bikes, and they're, so it may be time for us to start thinking about first educational aspects of this, and, you know, things that parents can take home to their kids and expect of their kids. And, I don't know, some of the parents may be a little want for themselves, I don't know, perhaps they can learn something as well. I said I was on an e-bike this weekend, but I was obeying all protocols and wearing helmet and everything. But it is something we need to take some note of. I know, Vance, you were concerned about this as well.
Yeah, not only those, but also the scooters and the age of the people riding them, and that's one of the, so for Dr. Smith out there, I serve on the it's called MAC, Metro Plan Advisory Commission, and deals with highways and streets and walkways and lights and all the transportation. And that's on my agenda this week, to try to get that on their agenda to speak about it at the next upcoming meeting and see what we could do, not just even locally, but even broader in the county. So hopefully we can get something done there, because when these things do 25 miles an hour and you have young people who don't know the rules of the road, it's very concerning. So, and I do see them on the sidewalks also.
And I think it's, you know, there are several news stories, several tutorials on how to deal with these things, because, I mean, we're not alone here. I mean, as we said, other cities have already started taking, and OCPS, I think, as well, is concerned about this. So OCPS was thinking about taking steps to limit their use on school property. So
I think we just saw a big surge of them after Christmas.
I think so.
Everybody just, a lot of kids got one.
Yeah. So I hope we will take this under advisement and start thinking about ways to address this with the public, and, you know, dealing with our excellent police department and figuring out, you know, it's probably not the best thing to do is go out there and start handing out tickets to 10-year-olds right away, but there has to be some enforcement, I think, and so we need to kind of work together with the education and enforcement aspects of this. So.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, I got just a question for all of us here. Do we want to give some direction and have staff kind of look out and give us some suggestions and report back to us at the next meeting, maybe what other cities and towns that they see working or they think might be a good idea that we could kind of adopt?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we could if staff wouldn't mind, you know, compiling a list of local or in Florida anyway, what you see out there, because I think it's fairly prevalent deal. I think we should have
It
more
is.
to figure out.
Just to name a few: Edgewater, Daytona Beach, Flagler County, all have regulations. The issue really, it's like everything else. It needs to be regulated, absolutely. As soon as we start regulating it, the state is liable to come in and preempt us, because that's what they like to do. But we should do something while we can, and hopefully get grandfathered in before that becomes an issue. The primary concern, at least a significant part of it, the education component, is that a 10-year-old shouldn't be on a bike that can go 28 miles an hour just by turning a throttle. But that's one of the classes of bikes, up to 28 miles an hour. Well, that would wipe out, you know, the average pedestrian, not just people who are old and fragile, but you and me. And so, and a 10-year-old kid doesn't think they're indestructible in here. And so parental education is huge, but basically turning over this what can be a lethal weapon to a kid at age 10 and saying, go have fun, that's a dangerous combination that all the regulation in the world isn't going to fix.
Okay, well, if we wouldn't mind putting together something for us to ruminate on and look at, and I mean, I'd be interested to see what exactly Miller Garden did. I mean, I know they were very exercised about it, and they have a long history of dealing with it, so.
Can I ask a question about that? Is this only streets and sidewalks, or we're talking about parks and the overpasses and, trails? Or are those considered sort of a separate?
Yeah, I would think that's all, I mean, it could all be handled at the same time. I mean, there are different issues with rights of way than there are, I guess, with trails and things, but yeah, they could all, I think it should all be addressed. I mean, I've seen kids turn up the grass out on the quad, on the ski bikes. So, Yeah.
I would just, I mean, I have not had a problem, I haven't seen kids acting, inappropriately, but I will say, in riding my own traditional bike, and I have ridden an e-bike on vacation, but not locally, but the ratio of e-bikes to traditional bikes is, now it's about, 6-to-1 maybe. I mean, I was trying to do a count as I went. Even the scooters, every kid is on a motorized vehicle. Very few kids still riding traditional bikes, and I'm sure it's going to get even more. So, and I noticed it because I was walking my bike through the tunnel over at Covered Bridge Park to Minnehaha, and there were 3 kids on e-bikes going through, and they weren't being unsafe about it, but it was the first time I'd encountered them. It was one of those spaces it could be unsafe. You come around the corner there and you're kind of blind, but I could hear them, so I knew they were coming, and it just put it stored it away to say that it's different. It's changed almost since last fall in my experience just riding around the.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
just to add to that, we do have signs on the Sandspur Trail, no to motorized vehicles, but yet I see e-bikes, I see golf carts occasionally. So I think a lot of people don't realize that there are rules for some of our trails even not allowing motorized vehicles. I don't think a lot of people mentally classify an e-bike as a motorized vehicle, but they are. There's a difference between a motor and an engine. Those electric motors are motors. So that's part of the problem. I think, education's great, but a 10-year-old, just like you say, is not going to pay attention to that either. So
It's
I
also
think-
enforcement. I mean, listen, in Ponce Inlet, it says no e-bikes. And you'll see 20 of them on the beach at one time. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's an issue to discuss, and appreciate Dr. Stern bringing that up. And Mr. Smith, appreciate you coming out here and trying to re-engage us. We will respond and see what's next on your agenda and get re-engaged in League of Cities.
Thank you, Ron.
Yep. Okay, let's close the public hearing. We've already done that, and really we're on to decisions. Our issues tonight are mainly dealing with board appointments. And the first board appointment we have is the canvassing board. And let's have Michelle, if you wouldn't mind introducing that.
The canvassing board is comprised of 1 city council member, the city manager, the city clerk, and 1 resident member. The first canvassing board meeting is tentatively scheduled for the week beginning February 2nd, 2026. This will be followed by the required meetings of the Orange County Supervisor of Elections Office on the following dates: Tuesday, March 10th, and Friday, March 13th. Additional meetings may be scheduled as necessary with dates to be determined. City Council is requested to appoint 1 resident member and 1 city council member, along with 1 alternate resident member and 1 alternate city council member in the event a primary appointee is unable to fulfill their appointment or duties. Historically, council members have volunteered to serve pursuant to Florida statutes 102.141. Individuals may not serve on the canvassing board if they are an active participant in a campaign for any candidate who has an opposition in the election being canvassed. Residents interested in serving in the canvassing board include Doris Hoff, Lori Wurzel.
Okay. Let's go ahead. So the way we do this is that we poll the council for nominations for a given seat. And if and we go all the way through all the nominations, just take the list of names, and then go through them alphabetically and vote on those names. Is that?
For this, it's a little bit different because it's a canvassing board, so first we would need the council appointee,
Okay.
and then make a determination. So you only have 2, Doris and Lori.
Right.
Make a determination of which would be the primary and which would be the backup for the canvassing board.
Okay. All right. So we want to start with the council member. Does any council member like to volunteer for this position?
I have volunteered the last few years, but I'm unable this year to do it. So, sadly. But it's a good thing to do. It's a great time to just go down there if you've never seen how it operates and how it works. It's fascinating to even get the tour and you learn a little bit.
Okay. All right, we're down to 4.
And you get to talk to Karen and pass her down.
Oh, yeah. Nice perk.
Nice perk.
Yeah. Okay.
So how long past the election do we anticipate this might run? Is it just a couple of days or?
It's 2 days, the night of the election, you're there, like just kind of certifying everything, and then you wait till the election's done, you certify, you sign off, and you go home, then you come back, Michelle, I'm right to say this, you come back like 2 days later to
The second
finalize
scheduled
it.
for March 13th, so the
Yeah.
election's March 10th, and then the meeting after that is March 13th.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. And then you get free dinner out of it.
I was looking more about the date, but if it doesn't
Okay,
go
there
you
past
go.
March 13th,
Wait, we have a taker down here. All right,
Yeah, you'll like it, it's fun.
all right, all right. We have one city council member would like to take it. Should we have a vote? Let's have a vote on it. Or, I'm sorry, Michelle, call the roll.
Councilmember Randolph.
aye.
Councilmember Guthrie.
Aye.
Councilmember French. Mayor Lowndes.
Aye. Okay, and while we're at it, we want to do the resident or the alternate city council member? Bill Randolph?
Yeah, I'll take the alternate.
Okay. Bill Randolph. Michelle, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember French.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaney.
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie.
Aye.
Mayor Lowndes.
Aye. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for serving. And now we're on to resident member. Are there any nominations for a resident member? And the two that have indicated interest are Doris Howe and Lori Wurzel.
Yeah, I'll nominate Doris. She's been doing it with me for years and years, and she really enjoys it. And then as alternate, Lori.
Okay,
I'll second that.
all right, we'll do it that way.
So, sorry.
Doris and alternate would be Lori Wurzel. And we have a second on that, yes. Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Shaney.
Aye.
Councilmember Randolph.
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie.
Aye.
Councilmember French.
Aye.
Mayor Lowndes.
Aye. Okay, excellent. All right, thank you all for ready to do that. Next is appointments to the Lakes Advisory Board. Very important board here in Maitland. Michelle, would you please introduce the appointment?
The Lakes Advisory Board has multiple vacancies. Paul Runyon has served 2 full terms and is not eligible for reappointment. Colleen Lilling has served 1 full term and has advised that she's not interested in reappointment. Brooke Powell has completed 1 full term and is seeking reappointment. An additional vacancy was created by the resignation of Daisy Chappie. As a result, the City Council is requested to make the following appointments. 3 appointments to serve full 3-year terms from January to December, January 2026, December 2028, and 1 appointment to serve the remainder of an unexpired term expiring December 2026. The following residents listed alphabetically below have submitted applications for appointment consideration. Brooke Powell seeking reappointment, Michaela Hill, Daryl Hoffman, Samantha Levine actually withdrew her application via email earlier today, so she is out of the running, and Jackie Morris.
Okay. So we need 3 appointments for full terms, 1 appointment for fill the unexpired term, and we have 4 volunteers who would do this. So let's have nominations on that. Does anybody have a nomination for one of the full terms?
So
Is
I
one
would,
reappointment?
One of the reappointments.
Yeah.
We could-
yeah,
Take care of that first.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, let's deal with Mr. Powell's, or Mr.
Can I make a motion to reappoint?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion then, for reappointment.
Okay. We have a motion for reappointment of Brooke Powell,
Second.
and a second. Michelle, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember French.
Aye.
Councilmember Randolph.
Aye.
Councilmember Guthrie.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaney.
Aye.
Mayor Lowndes.
Aye. Okay.
So I just want to say something before we get into this. This, what I opened up my packet, And I was so pleased to see so many citizens wanting to be part of our boards. And what was great was, I think I only knew like one or two of all the people. So this is all like really people that are want to get involved with the city. I'm just really happy to see it and be part of it.
Okay. All right. We have two more full terms to fill. We have an appointment for the next full term. I mean, a nomination for the next full term.
So I was, like I said, I didn't know any of these people, and I was really taken by Michaela Hill, with her background. So never met her, but I love her background, so I would suggest her.
Okay. Nomination for Michaela Hill.
I'll make a nomination for Caleb.
All right. Well, we could do it that way, or we could go all the way through all the nominations for this seat.
Mayor, this one's pretty straightforward since you have equal number of openings.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could do. All
So we
right,
need
So
three.
the only real decision is who serves the partial term.
Right. Okay, so we're filling the full terms now. We have a first and a second and a third. We do it for Michaela Hill.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for Michaela Hill.
Bill, you seconded that?
Yeah, second.
And then we need a third on this one, so.
Any of y'all want a third?
I don't want to.
Okay.
Okay.
We got a third. All right. Congratulations, Michaela. All right, the third full term.
So Jackie Morris.
Okay, we have a nomination for Jackie Morris. We have a second. Any second for Jackie Morris? All right.
Sure.
Well, okay, Jackie's got a second.
Jackie's got a second.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if anybody else has one they want to put in. Yeah.
All right. Okay, and we have a third for Jackie or no? All right. Let's go. Does anybody have another nomination for the third full term?
What's the other person's name?
Darrell Hoffman.
Darrell Hoffman.
I'll make a motion for Darrell on a 3-year term.
Okay, we have a motion for Darrell. We have a second. All right, I have a lot of options.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yes.
Okay, a second for Darrell
Sounds like you got all three.
and a third from Scott. Is that right? Okay. Darrell Hoffman is the full term. Okay. All right, now an expired term for Jackie Morris. Would be a good nomination. If somebody had it.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Second. I'll third it. Okay.
So how much time is left on the one Jackie's doing?
Till December of this year.
So with that partial, would they still be,
Eligible for 2 full terms after that.
okay, so really they could do 7 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we've got that, Michelle? Brooke Powell, Michaela Hill, Darrell Hoffman, the full terms, and Jackie Morris to fill out the expired term. Okay. The third board is Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Michelle, would you please introduce that up?
The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board has 2 vacancies resulting from the expiration of the terms of Andrew Smith and Mike Thomas in December 2025. Andrew Smith has served 1 full term and is advised he is not seeking reappointment. Mike Thomas has served 1 full term and is advised that he is not seeking reappointment. The City Council has requested to make 2 appointments to serve full 3-year terms, commencing January 2026 and expiring December 2028. The following residents listed alphabetically have submitted applications for appointment consideration: Darnell Dolge, Noah Donahue, Matthew Harrison, Jackie Morris, which she just got appointed, so we removed her from the list, Doreen Olive, and Miguel Pajares.
Okay. We have 2 appointments for 3 full-year terms. Yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 residents who've indicated interest, so 2 appointments with 5 residents. So let's do it the old-fashioned way and open up the floor for the first appointment for a full 3-year term. Anybody have?
Again, I don't know any of these people, but I kind of liked what I read with Darnell. Don't get mad at me. Dolge?
I'll second that.
Wait, I think we're just going to get the nominations out.
Yes.
Let's still
Okay.
do that. Yeah. Okay, so we got Darnell. Is anybody else for this first seat? Then we're going to come back to the second seat. Let's go. Any other nominations for the first seat? Seeing none? First, second, and third would do it.
All right, I'll make a motion, since I put it out there, for Darnell Dolge.
I've already seconded it, so.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
All third.
There we go.
Steve thirds it. Okay. Congratulations, Darnell. Now for the second full 3-year term. Does anybody have a nomination for that?
I'll make a motion for Donahue.
Donahue.
No, I'll second.
All right. We have a third, or let's see. Okay, wait. Just go ahead. Give it.
Nominations, so
Nomination.
first, second, and third.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got first and second.
First and
Look for
second.
third.
And third. Mr. Donahue.
I'll do third.
Okay. All right, so this is really not a function of the alphabet, but first 2 on the list, Mr. Darnell Dolge and Noah Donahue, now are going to serve 3 full-year terms. Or full 3-year terms, rather. All right. Okay, we are moving on to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And Michelle, would you introduce that appointment?
The Planning and Zoning Commission has 1 vacancy, as Kathleen McIver has served 2 full terms and is not eligible for reappointment at this time. The City Council has requested to make 1 appointment to serve a full 3-year term, commencing January 2026 and expiring December 2028. The following residents listed alphabetically have submitted applications for appointment consideration: Mohammed Aga, Julian Cordova, Noah Donahue just got appointed at the last one, so we removed him from the list. Julie Coran, Ken Linehan, Elise Morris, and Alexis Presser. Jackie Morris is removed as well.
Mr. Mayor, can I just say thank you to Kathleen McIver just for her many years of service to the city. She was on Lakes Advisory Board for many years before this, and then served on planning and zoning, so she's done a great job.
I agree. Yes, she's been there for a long time. She's done good work. I see a lot of her excellent comments come through in the P&Z recommendations to council over the years. So yes, thank you, Kathleen McIver. Okay, we have 1 appointment here. Let's open it up for nominations.
I'm going to nominate Mr. Linehan.
Yeah, I don't.
I just want to say, this is the most difficult board to be on. There's a lot of learning curve to it, and I think somebody with an architectural background probably understands these things better than most citizens do.
And having served, the mayor and I both having served on it before, I would agree with you. And I also don't know him at all, but I was reading the background, and I totally agree. That was my number 1 choice also. So I would second that.
Okay, all right. We have the first, second, and third. You got them all?
First, second, and third.
Okay, Ken Linehan. Congratulations to Ken Linehan. You've been appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And thank you for all the other folks who have put in your names for that. Again, it's a very important board for the city. It's at least maybe the only statutory board that we have, maybe. And it's a lot of work. It can be a lot of work, so I appreciate people who put in their names for that. And please continue to put in your names as these boards come up. Okay, we have now an appointment for the Police and Fire Pension Trust Fund. Michelle, would you please introduce that?
The Police Officers and Firefighters Pension Trust Fund Board has one vacancy resulting from a resident member moving out of the city. Ivan Valdez has served one full term and was approximately 1.5 years into his second term at the time the vacancy occurred. The City Council is requested to make one appointment to fill the remainder of an unexpired 4-year term as provided by statute, commencing January 2026 and expiring May 2028. Following residents listed alphabetically submitted their applications for consideration: Louis Arias and Jackie Morris, which Jackie Morris will be removed because she's been appointed.
Pretty simple one then.
Okay, let's open up nominations.
Yeah, nominate Luis Barrio.
All right, nomination for Luis.
I'll second Steve's.
Luis, all right.
Third.
All right, we got first, second, and third. Thank you, Luis Barrios. You are now on the Police and Fire Pension Trust Fund Board, and thank you for volunteering for that. All right. Road in your yard.
Yep.
Okay, yes. All right, we're in the home stretch here. We have the Transportation Advisory Board, which is also a very important board for the city traditionally. Michelle, would you please introduce this appointment?
The Transportation Advisory Board has multiple vacancies requiring appointment by the City Council. 2 vacancies have existed since James Blackford and Cliff Tate termed out in 2024. Appointments to these seats are needed to fulfill the expired terms commencing January 2026 and expiring December 2027. The terms of Dale McDonald and Ian Lockwood expire December 2025. Dale McDonald has served one full term and has resigned effective January 23, 2026, therefore is not seeking reappointment. Ian Lockwood has served 2 full terms and is not eligible for reappointment at this time. The following residents listed alphabetically have submitted applications for appointment consideration: Louis Arias, who you just appointed to the pension board,
Yeah.
so he's removed. Julian Cordova, Dennis Edwards, Jackie Morris gets removed because she was appointed on a different board. Alexis Pricer and Brian Weber.
Okay. We have two vacancies for this board, so let's open up the floor for nominations for the first.
I'll nominate
seat.
Alexis.
Yeah, and I'll third it. She was
Okay,
impressive.
all right. That was a resounding endorsement. Alexis Presser has the first seat on the TAB, and let's open up the floor for next.
I'll nominate Mr. Edwards.
Okay, Dennis Edwards. Okay, Dennis Edwards, do we have a second for Dennis?
Yeah, I'll second.
And I will go third.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Edwards and Alexis Presser. You are now members of the Transportation Advisory Board.
Mayor, we still have 2 more because of Dale's resignation and Ian's candidacy third.
I see, you're right. Yes.
So we only have 2 left, right?
Yep, correct.
No, well, let's see. Yes.
Julian Barboza and Brian.
Are they concurrent terms? They're both. So Dale resigned effective days ago.
Yep, so that's a full term, and there you have 2 full terms.
Oh, yeah, 2 full terms. All right.
Then I'll just take, we'll go one by one if you like, Mr. Mayor.
We're left with these 2.
Yeah. I will make a motion for Julian Cordova.
I'll second it.
Okay. And we have first, second, and third for Julian Cordova. And for the last seat on TAB, anyone wish to make a nomination?
For Mr. Weber?
You get one yet?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for Mr. Brian Weber, be appointed.
Okay.
Second.
Second, third, and a third. Okay, thank you, Mr. Weber. Now we have a full Transportation Advisory Board.
E-bikes, scooters, transportation issue.
That's right, maybe we'll have something to discuss. Okay. All right, I believe that is our business for the evening. Reports, Mr. City Attorney, any reports?
I assume you all are interested in property tax reform. I know I am. So I'm going to give you what I know. The most likely bill to get through the legislative session with the signature from the governor is House Joint Resolution 203. It proposes an additional $100,000 a year homestead exemption each year for the next 10 years. Goal being that most homestead properties would be fully exempt by the year 2037. That in year one, if you want to know some sort of estimates of how much revenue that means, in just year one, if this goes through, that's $4.8 billion are the estimates of reduced local government tax revenues available for stuff that local governments do. How this would affect Maitland is unknown because I don't happen to know the homestead exempt taxable tax base that contributes to our overall ad valorem, but I know it's not nothing. And of course, the problem with this whole idea is that some of you, I know you gentlemen will remember, we were in a situation when I got out of law school where shortly after they thought it was a great idea to put a tax on services to solve all the financial evils that we had in the state, including legal services. That lasted for only 1 year because people realized, from among other things, that legal services are already too expensive without paying taxes on them. So it went away, and no permanent damage was done. The difference here is that once you start taking homestead exemptions and increasing them so that, you know, some houses in Maitland, it'll be 5 or 6 years, and some wouldn't be completely exhausted in 10 years because they're over $1 million in value. But the bottom line is it's going to have an effect, and it's going to be, in many cases, unless this is an alternative revenue source, irreparable damage to local government as we know it today. And so it certainly would require, if you're interested in such things, that you call the local legislative delegation and tell them, or ask them maybe, hypothetically, have they lost their such and such minds? Because this is bad. Now, whether it passes is largely up to the voters, because if it gets through the legislature and gets signed by the governor, which is looking more and more likely, then the voters have to vote on it. It takes a 60% approval of the voters at the ballot box to pass it. It is very difficult to predict that voters will vote against what they perceive as saving money because they don't know what it looks like on the other than the pipeline when the police can't come, when the fire can't come, when the sewers can't get fixed, and so forth and so on. So that's my thought. Some of it's political, but it's also factual, and you can read about it online.
Okay.
So, Cliff, a question, are we seeing any like organizations kind of starting to mobilize and get information packets and stuff out, or commercials or anything like that, say like League of Cities or?
Well, the League of Cities is obviously heavily lobbying on this issue, but it's in damage control mode because this is the top issue the governor wants, and still he holds sway over the right number of people. Now, the question is, will there be a fight similar to what happened last year between the House and the Senate that wanted to do away with CRAs? The House wanted to get rid of them. The Senate said this is insanity, and ultimately insanity prevailed, and they said we're not going to do anything with this. And hopefully, because they're now distracted with property tax reform, they won't have to deal with CRAs. But of course, if they implement the property tax reform that they're talking about, CRAs are going to go away anyway, because that's what we survive on. Right? So this League of Cities is on it, but I would venture to tell you they're in damage control mode, is trying to say, okay, well, maybe not 100,000, maybe another 50 or something to slow the roll till we can figure out an alternative source of income. But the only alternative source of income that has been discussed, at least that I'm aware of publicly with some traction, which is scary, is sales tax. And that, as you know, taxes the people who can least afford it the most. And so, depending on how you feel about taxes, nobody loves them, but you know, if people with less income have to pay the same amount of tax on everything that people with more income do, they're disproportionately affected. So that's the political part of it. I'm not arguing one way or the other, I'm just telling you, factually, that's how it works out. And it doesn't seem like that would be a very good solution for the property tax model.
And I think the governor said that's a no-go with him.
Yeah.
He'll veto that also. So where do
That's the problem.
where do we get the money at?
Maybe people will drink and smoke more? And we can get those taxes? I don't know.
Yeah. So, you know, the thing is that it's on the surface, it looks great, like, oh, good, I can save money. Well,
Right.
you know, then that's money that, you know, I think the governor talked about, oh, well, we'll help pay the police, but then who's paying the fire? Who's paying not the 911 operators? Who's paying the city clerks? Who's paying, you know, the guys that go out and fix the streets? Where do we get money to put in new streets and new lines and
All of that.
Yeah, and repairs. So,
What it comes down to, do we enterprise the police and firefighters like our water and sewer and stormwater, where we have a fee that's paid monthly or annually?
But there are even limitations on what you can do with those fees statutorily.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Okay.
And we're paying attention to what's going on. When we're talking about messaging. We're not out there messaging right now because there are no less than 6 proposals in the House right now, none in the Senate. We don't want to confuse messages. There's issues where the exemption, there would be exemption for schools, exemptions for police, exemptions for fire. Get rid of it all at once, get rid of it incrementally. So we're waiting to see how that sort of filters out over the next few weeks before we start putting a consistent message together. We have people are going to ask questions. We need facts. So still early in the session, still a lot going on, and there isn't anything on the Senate side, as Cliff said. So we're always hoping that, and we've been lucky that for the last couple sessions, reason has prevailed in the Senate. They seem to understand what the repercussions would be of something like this, and that's where everyone's focusing their attention right now.
to quote a friend of mine who just got back from Tallahassee, talking to all these people, the quote was, "There's a bunch of crazy going on." That's exactly. So they just lost, what the person said is they lost their minds up there. So.
Okay. All right. Cliff, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah,
City Manager?
Just a few updates. We have the Maitland Police Family Fun Day, which is 11 to 2, Saturday, January 31st, just around the corner here at Independence Square and on Independence Lane. That's one of the bigger events we have of the year. We have our next Get Down Downtown, 6 o'clock Friday, February 6th in Independence Square. We have another community cleanup, 9 a.m. Saturday, February 21st, Lake Sedalia Beach is where we'll be meeting. Movie in the park this month's going to be The Wild Robot at 6:30, Saturday, February 21st in Independence Square. And of course, we'll be kicking off the festival, or ending festival season with Jazz and Blues Festival, April 10th and 11th here in Independence Square.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Michelle? City Clerk?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Council members, anybody have anything to report?
I have a couple things, if that's okay. First, I want to, and I meant to mention this, I want to thank Mr. Blackburn and Mr. Tate for their service also at TAB for the last 6 or more years. They're just geniuses when it comes to transportation, so they'll be missed, but thank you so much for everything you've done, gentlemen. Also, just a reminder, a couple months ago, Mark did send out info for us to look at over advisory boards and stuff. I think all the bylaws and constitutions, right? So if, just throw in the back of your head, I think it's time for us to really go and look at those and, you know, maybe have a discussion about doing a workshop and kind of form what that would look like. I'd like to talk about that if that's possible at our next meeting. So, and then just for fun, I just wondered if this is something we could do. So we know in June, it's rainy, but that's when the World Cup's coming. Is there anywhere, if the U.S. is playing, we could do, instead of movie in the park, we could do, show one of the games somewhere in the city?
We certainly could, but that's the problem, is the summertime events.
Yeah.
When we've tried those in the past, they've been somewhat iffy and maybe have failed because of the weather, so we've strayed away from summertime events.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a place where we could do it. We could show project the games and have everybody come out and root on the USA and as a community, kind of fun.
Yeah, it certainly would be cheaper than
Good ticket.
looking at tickets.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
$600 for the cheapest ticket.
Oh, yeah,
Is
they're
that
like,
right?
yeah, $3,000 we was looking at for, it's insane, so, anyway.
And they don't have a rookie score.
Yeah, it's like $1 bazillion a goal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, seeing nothing else important this evening, let's adjourn, thank you.